Hello, welcome back. Teh
Tarik
Tarik
Hour.
As always, it's me, Azreen, along with,
Ah Kit here.
and we are back for another Teh Tarik
Our
talks.
episodes.
Episode talks, whatever lah.
Yeah, whatever.
As always, if you enjoy what we do and the stuff that we talk about, please share, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And if you ever want to reach out to us or maybe collaborate or whatever, tehtarikhour@gmail.com.
Yeah.
It's been a week of a lot of controversies, a lot of issues. Our last episode, Hanayo's episode, had some quite interesting reaction there.
I think recently we have done a lot of the Hanayo and then the
human rights.
Human rights. Actually, these two episodes is quite good response from the YouTube side lah.
It brought a lot of discussion and it brings out both sides' opinion. Some are very defending of the situation. Some is very attacking of the situation.
Yes,
but
yes.
Everyone's opinion is shared. And how valid are the opinion? That one we don't decide lah. Let's just be okay. First thing first lah. We make it clear. We are not smart people.
Yes.
We are not the most educated people or anything like that.
Yeah, we just do a sharing our thought and then sharing some of our thinkings, and maybe some people's like, because recently we found out our message and our email is some social workers, they are trying to reach us and say, oh, your shows is very good, and then to discuss on these human rights issues
and
this the right issues. So it's asked us to keep it up. And then I also, if let's say this social worker, you are watching our video, maybe we can do a cooperation in the futures, and maybe we can
come over and talk with us, because we do want to hear voices from people who actually work in this line on the ground. And because as much as we like to share our opinions as well, we are limited to what we know lah, basically, right?
I think is this social worker also inspire us. We come out with the one topic, the humans right. From the humans right, we are developed to, it's not said developed, like we are dig more deep
into the issue there.
The issue there. So actually today we have a one topic, we call it is children's right.
Yes, actually this is something that you wanted to tackle on the previous episode, but we didn't have enough time because we got so spirited about all the different things that we need to talk about. We forgotten to talk about children's right.
Yes, children's right.
And children's right is actually quite a substantial issue in Malaysia, basically, right?
Yep. So what? Okay, Azreen. Both of us, we don't have children's right now.
Yes.
Yeah. So
maybe we are not, we don't have the right to say no children, no children. How dare you say anything?
So what do you think? What's so important for children's right in Malaysia?
I think there are a few basic things that a children should have rights to basically something like education, food, shelter, and then also protection from any kind of abuses. Like as a children, you shouldn't have to be put in a situation that's like terrible. Okay? Let alone if you're an adult. If you're an adult, you have no shelter, no food, and all this is terrible.
Yes.
If you imagine for a child who doesn't know anything or what, how much worse can it be?
Actually, child poverty.
Child poverty is actually quite an issue in Malaysia.
It's a quite serious issue in Malaysia.
Yes. Because there's not enough social benefits to help them.
Yep. So one thing is like, it's very serious lah. It's called in this called child marriage.
Child marriage, yes. This is a sensitive issue, bro. Okay.
So it's a very sensitive
issue in terms of Malaysia lah.
But for the childrens, they are still keep the right, because they are still is a childrens. They have the right, because in this age group people, they have the right for the educations. The first thing, they have reserved the right for their education, right?
But interesting, you talk about having access to those basic rights, like education and child poverty, to avoid all this, right? Like to get social benefits. Children that don't have this right is terrible, but there are also stateless children without any identity in Malaysia.
Yep.
I'm sure you've come across this in your research. I think so lah.
Yes.
There's a group of people. They are stateless in Malaysia. Means they don't have IC or identity, which means they don't have access to human rights, right?
Yeah, this group of people like refugees, refugees.
Not just refugees, there's also Malaysians, the
im-
Bajau or something like that.
and the means the when you're foreigners, the second generations.
Not just second generation, also Aborigines or like original
Malaysian.
Malaysians that I can't remember the name of the group I think I said it's Bajau, but like the East Malaysia, they live in the sea, and they have all this like really terrible living conditions, but they were never given
The proper education.
They were never even given state ID.
I think it's a birth cert. They are the child is below 12 years old. They even don't have any birth cert also, birth certificate.
The parents don't have IC as they don't have a state, even though they're like from like the original Malaysians there, like since Dono Donkey many years.
Yes,
but they still aren't given identification because maybe it's just we don't look at them as people.
I believe some of the school, the primary school, I think the time I went to this Pudu area, some Pudu area and some school, there is a highlight. The school is highlight saying no, without the birth certificate, not Malaysians is not welcome to
not allowed to study there
yes. So
I mean, you can if you go to private school, just pay what 50,000.
But some people, the poor people, how they can afford the private school,
Okay, let's bring it back to the main topic of children's right. We've touched on a few like poverty, child marriages, and state ID like stateless children . Let's start first with poverty. In your opinion, how bad is the situation in Malaysia ? Like what are you aware of?
Okay, aware is because some of the I'm not saying the new immigrant people who come to Malaysia. They actually this group of people I already highlight in the previous episode. There is a Malay, Chinese, and Indians. They are the fourth group in Malaysia. The population in Malaysia is a huge population. So this group of people, they are the second generation. They are very hardly to get the education, a proper education. Maybe some of their children they go for the workers because they are poor. Maybe they will go for workers and work underage.
Which child
workers
is considered should be a illegal thing, right?
Yes,
but it's still prevalent. Unfortunately, in Malaysia, there's this issue. Also, when it comes to illegal workers, it's like there's no protection for them whatsoever, right?
One thing is no protections. The other thing is they are already in a poor situations. They don't have any money for even surviving or makan. So people's like, but children's they are still reserved the age for education. Maybe Malaysia we have some people's like social workers to help them send their children go for education. No matter how poor you are, the first come thing for the children is the education.
They should have right to education.
Yes.
Because when you have right to education, you have the ability to get better jobs, get to pay, and not just that. When you go to a school, you can get to eat as well because school sometimes will provide lunch and everything, right? That's also helping them for nutrition and whatnot, right?
Yes, because I believe because for our, I'm Chinese, from our Chinese the Chinese thinking, Chinese thought even how poor the parents, they have sent the kids and the children to school. For my generations, they have
to send
the children
because education is important.
Education is very important for you to change your life also.
True. I mean, education is the only concrete way of social mobility, of ensuring that you can get a better life. Let's not compare to people like all these people who wants to become YouTuber all this. We don't compare this level of people because outside they are born in a family that's already well off, and then they already have access to become all these things. So that's not applicable to them. We're talking strictly about really like below the poverty line kind of children, or refugees or immigrants or stateless children who deserve and they should have the right to all these basic things that every human have .
Yes.
And honestly, for Malaysia itself, have you seen the enough movement there to really support this level of human rights violation ?
I don't think it's support enough. Really.
I mean, the
I
truth
can
is,
see.
like, Malaysia is quite strict when it comes to nationality,
Mm-mm.
because like, yeah, as a foreigner, if you come here, if you're expat even lah, you're a rich person
Mm-mm.
coming here and getting citizenship and all this is not easy for them. Let alone you are a refugee or
Mm-mm.
a poverty-stricken family and children.
Yes.
Like the chances of getting even that is not good lah. And the
Yeah.
way we treat for like especially lower class foreign workers, like
Mm-mm.
not Uyghur. What's that? Last time we had that refugee thing where
The protections or
yeah,
even how the what you call their rights lah. Even
yeah, we are send them to like,
rampas their right also.
we basically send them to concentration camps lah.
Yeah.
Basically, like you stay there. Then even recently with the Bangladeshi workers, right? They come in and they just like they all got cheated by agents and then left there. And what do we do? Nothing.
Yeah. I think the poor people also very they are got their problems now for this, right?
I mean, poor people have more problems definitely compared to a CEO like that.
But the children's right, even the wealthy, let's say the wealthy, the children's also they got a problem for children's right. The children's in wealthy, even they are studying in international school or not international school, our kebangsaan school, because nowadays the parents they force their children is go for the tuitions and no time for them to play.
Okay, so this is an interesting perspective, right?
Mm-mm.
So for some maybe older generation will say, "What? Don't say this nonsense. This is you being soft, leh."
So the actually this is the families like parents, they are like competitions. Oh, this family, hey, your son score 5 A's. My son
score
score
6A.
6A. Wow, this kind of competition, you
So
know.
this is like emotional kind of a mental abuse kind of
Yes,
thing, is it?
Yes. So actually, the childhoods, it's like our childhoods. My parents has give me as the more freedom I have. You want to study or you don't want to go for school, I also don't care. I'm not saying don't care. It's just like, I give you the freedom to do what
opportunity
you want.
lah.
Opportunity. If let's say you want to go tuition, okay, you ask me, I pay the money, you go for the tuition. If you don't want to go to tuition, doesn't matter. But nowadays, come back, boy. You have the tuitions, 9 o'clock tuition. After school tuitions, then 5 o'clock for your swimming class, 7 o'clock you do your homework, 9 o'clock you jump to your bed and sleep.
Now, okay, here's the thing. Like this kind of like strict regimen lah.
Mm-mm.
I don't know how much of an issue it's become in Malaysia lah, compared to like a country like Korea, South Korea, where it's much worse in terms of that kind of like abuse towards like students. The thing is, I'm very hesitant to say it's strictly abuse, but I guess it is abuse, right?
Abuse.
Like, emotional abuse and mental abuse,
some
which can lead to depression, suicide,
depression,
even worse.
Yes.
I don't know we are reaching at that point of like comparing it to countries like Japan or South Korea or even China to that matter, because I do believe like China also has this level of like regimen pushed towards their children as well, right?
I think Malaysia also quite serious.
I mean, it's hard for me to see because I don't have a children, so I don't have a child, and I'm not spending time with people with
Because
children
I
as well.
always some of the childrens they have even their society because
the pressure is
the
it?
pressure the result is not good. It can't reach the parents' expectations. Kind of thing. They will be saying, how come I'm so stupid? I cannot reach my parents' expectations, and then they have issues. Maybe I'm in study. I really work so hard for the study, but in the end I cannot get the result, the expectation from his parents.
So if you're looking at that approach, right? Like what is the main problem there? Is it the parents' problem, or are we going to train as a society say the children is not living up to the expectation?
I think it's because the societies is becoming so everyone also work also even our work also stress, and then the life also stress. So the parent also think of I'm not saying I want to give a stress for my children.
But I'm trying to prepare the children, right?
Try to prepare their before they go out to the society, before they go for choose their majors. They want to prepare themselves to get a better result and have better choice. This is what always the parents is thinking.
The reasoning is there, is that.
But because we do a lot of pressure, maybe it's something is like, the pressure a lot become the other terbalik.
It turns it back around and then
Yes.
ends up more pain in the end, because if you push a child too much, then
Yeah.
they decided it's not worth it.
Mm-mm.
You also pain yourself, you lose your child
Yes.
to something like this. Like, I mean, I'm sure it's like some will survive and they will like end up hating their parents, or not be too close or anything like that. But like child suicide, I don't know how bad it is in Malaysia lah, the suicide rate. But you know, that kind of abuse is not easy to tackle. I feel that's a very societies need to change its point of view, perspective on like what it means to be a success, right? Because like right now the success is you have to have a car, you have a big job, big house and all this, and the only way to do this you have to go get the education like that.
Because I think our society also changed. Our I think the era difference also changed a lot. I think people, the stress is get from like not just direct from, I mean, a lot of where we get the stress, and it's the way how you're gonna think, the way to get out from the stress.
I mean, these are interesting like abuses that I guess not really tackled by Malaysian yet, right? Like how are you going to ensure that your children is not forced to experience this kind of like mental abuse lah? But there is mental abuse, there's physical abuse, which we've talked so far, with the physical abuse being like the child poverty and everything, and the mental abuse, which is like the education pressure by family. The one that's quite unique in Malaysia that I think is a suffer of both mental and physical abuse is child marriages lah.
Child marriages.
Which is I I don't know how in 2024 we can still say child marriages is okay in certain places, man. Like I think Malaysia is one of those few unique countries that still
Because our Malaysia here,
now this is a very sensitive because
we are too
one of the R is we are
system.
we are crossing
I
the
know.
R there lah, one the R there. Okay.
That's why is what I can say that is a two dual legal system.
Yes, we have the civil and we have the Sharia law. Now, bringing that up, I'm sure will trigger some people in the comments to say, well, who are you to criticize?
So I want to say
this?
it's two legal systems lah, two legal
But
systems.
okay, like we just look at it at the perspective of a human nature. Do you think it's right for a fully adult grown man, and let's be honest, most of the cases is men. I rarely see. There are some cases of women marrying younger men. There were like, I think there was a recent news about a 40-something-year-old marrying a 19-year-old, and they were dating like for a few years before that, that's already red flag. Cannot like that already, you know. But there are more cases of like an older adult male marrying children as young as 12 or 13, and it is considered legal in certain areas lah. And even if it weren't legal, there are loophole for them to do this. Like, you have to be a crazy person, okay, to go to that extent to say that I really want to marry this child. I'm willing to go through certain process, like going to Thailand, register there, then come back, and then register there. Like, the way they do it is crazy lah. But the child marriage issue, it is a real issue in Malaysia. But for your perspective, okay, like what do you see is the situation right now, and do you think gonna be any different?
Okay, one thing's I'm perspective of because these are related the religion issues, and then I'm the Chinese guy here. I'm from my Chinese perspective. I'm still thinking of the children's, even no matter is which race, they are also have reserved the education go first before they do anything.
Yes.
And then they are 16 years below 16 years old. They are the age for them to.
Actually, that's also another thing. Also, the minimum age there, 16 is too low, man.
16 too low.
16 is too low, man. We should put it at like 18 or 19 lah. I don't think you should be considered adult until you're like 18 or 19. Like, when you say 16, right? Because you say the legal age of consent is 16. So if you are 16 years old, technically you are allowed to get married or
Yep, 16 years old and above, yeah.
and
But for some people, it's like, because many countries start. Yeah, how come so many people they are not married so early? It's because the life is so stressed, and then maybe they are dragged until 40 years old. Then they get married.
Okay, that's one thing. But the most important thing is 16 is too young.
Yeah, 16 too young.
That's just the logic. Your brain not even developed until you're 20. If I really follow my belief, right, I don't think you should get married until you're like 20, though, or at least considered that point. Now, age of consent also means sexual consent, lah. That is a bit of a gray area, but to me, right, if you're 16 and you're dating a 16-year-old, sure. But if you're 16 and you're dating a 40-year-old, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, even then, 16 or 25, I'd still also consider that a problem because the difference between the age 16 and 25 is too vast. Even 16 to 21, 22.
Or maybe we can set a certain guideline for marriage. Maybe we increase the age, not 16, maybe 18 or 21 years old, then can be marriage. Then would be people maybe 21s or above 20s, they are more mature to handle his life lah.
Their lives are basically. Like,
yes, but for 16 years old or 18 years old, maybe they are, and because the family is poor, then the parents who are decide, oh, my daughter can marry, they are already
will be a better life,
yes.
right? But that's the thing. You shouldn't have to come to that solution, what? The solution shouldn't be that, oh, in order to give my daughter a better life, I'll let her marry some rich old adult pedophile who want to marry a 16-year-old. Like, that cannot be the solution, ma. The solution should have been like, oh, I can go to the government to say that, oh, please give us social benefits to ensure that my child can have a better life.
But the let's say the society will come out, maybe the 16 years olds and can find some way, maybe they can I want to go for study, I want to then go some center or some associations, then can help them. They have this group of people, they don't want to go a marriage. Got this kind of means.
I'm sure there's like NGOs that provides help for this, like, but the thing is, they need money. Like, NGOs need money. And I don't think our government is giving enough funding for this kind of like outreach programs. I mean, you've seen how certain politicians, certain people who are trying to force the government to really take a look at the child marriage issues and how long it's still being dragged till today. There's certain forces within the government that's, are slow to react to this kind of thing. And I do feel like that's going to keep going on for a while. But I think certain solutions should be obvious, isn't it? Like, first of all, if you're not 18 or 19, don't even think about marriage. Just education all the way.
Yeah.
And then have your certain, all your basic rights and basic needs filled, like a shelter, food, and then education. These three should be the basic for children in Malaysia everywhere, regardless of race, religion, or even status as their nationality status.
Yes.
If you're a refugee child, you should still have that right also. That should not be a discussion.
Actually, this is very important. If let's say for a country, they go to develop, they need a lot of, because the people in educations, and if let's say for next generations, without education, a lot of people without education, the whole society and the whole Malaysia, how we go to compete with other country? I mean, one thing is how to compete with other country lah. If let's say I got a many manpower, but this a low manpower.
You mean like not really reaching their full potential kind of people lah?
Yeah. Then you want to hire the expert from overseas. Then you want to have to pay. Why we not focus our resources? This is what we have. The resources, let's use what we have, right? The young generation actually is the country resources. If let's say we are going to develop this group of people, and then you try to protect them, give them their right. They have the right for the education. They become a better life. They contribute to the
right.
To the country.
If they feel if you provide all these people, all these children with the necessary basic right, and you nurture and foster them their growth,
Yes.
they will grow up feeling obligated to, to pay back to the country,
Contribute
to
to the
contribute
country.
back to the country, because this is the country that provide them the opportunity to live a
Yes.
better life.
Of
Of course, they want the country to be better, right?
Yep.
And that's what we all want to do in the end. We want to make our country the best it can be.
And see, if let's say you make suffer to those those foreigners who come to this country, then the people will get hate. Maybe they are,
They
you treat
develop
our
anger,
parents like
yeah.
that. Okay, so I go for, maybe you'll go for rob or whatever to the country and then get the money or then chow for to other country.
I mean, I don't know if that's the case will be. This one is like
this
very storytelling.
Yeah.
But of course, if you don't develop the care for these people, they won't in turn, care about you also. What if you let all these people grow up in hate in their heart, they will grow up hating this place. But that's the thing. It's not easy to convince a lot of Malaysians to really be that open. As I've said, we are very. We like to show off to the expat, Malaysian very friendly people, all this. But in truth, when it comes to immigration and accepting foreigners, and especially like people from like Bangladesh and all this, there's a difference. We treat them differently, and we all try to say, we're different. We're very open and very nice. But the truth is, we don't treat a lot of this like refugees or a lot of this people.
No,
the respect they
the
deserve.
fair guideline is so blur, the guideline there.
I mean, it's hard because I can understand. I guess I can understand for some people's perspectives, because like we were programmed in since young age to hate and fear and to be angry about all these things that we don't know about. And if you grow up believing that and you never take the chance to actually learn and understand the pain of other people, you will grow up still thinking that and believing that, and then you pass it on to your children. And then it becomes another cycle and it continues on. Nothing changed.
Correct.
But then that's the thing. Is it possible for us to change? Do you think can we improve the children? Let's look at children right alone. Do you think we can improve the children's right situation in Malaysia? Just your opinion lah. I know. Look, for the viewers, we are just sharing opinion. We're not the like we said, we're not the doctor, all this, but we like to share our thoughts.
I say, I can feel it is very hard to Malaysians for this improvement is very, very hard. Why I say like that? And because Malaysians they has a two type of what you call it, the legal systems. Yeah, some kind of like we are looking at two different ways.
Two different classes.
Yes.
That's very dangerous thing to say. You know what other countries have two different? What other regime had two different classes? Deal. Okay, I take it back. Take it back. Look, that's a very hard thing to.
I will hardly to explain here because there's something like
because we might get caught. This episode, it will be our last episode, and then we will no longer be around anymore.
So I don't want to touch the point it's very hard, but I think Malaysians and some of Malaysia, we are also trying so hard to make the children they have a good education. This I can see a lot of the outside in Malaysia and KL especially. You can see the people is work very hard for the children. Really.
I mean, for me personally, I feel like at the end of the day, we should approach any of the issues regarding children with empathy. This is. You need to have your feeling and look at the children first. Like, it doesn't matter where they come from, or their race, their color, their skin. It's like, just you look at that children and then you think to yourself, as a human being, does this child deserve all this pain and suffering? It should not be the answer should not be yes. Okay, we should not accept that as human beings.
Innocent, innocent.
Exactly, they done nothing wrong. So why do they have to suffer? But then again, it's like then the solution there is where things become complicated. You know the answer is they should not suffer. But the solution is who is willing to bring it up. Or at least provide the way to help these people without without needing to think about, oh, we need to look at this law, we need to look at this law, we need to look at that law, and all this. Like, of course, I'm not smart enough to say like what's the solution lah. We're both so high people, ma. But I do feel like at the end of the day, it's just like empathy is the easiest thing to think about first when you look at children's right now. When it comes to child marriages, when it comes to child poverty, when it comes to mental and physical abuse,
yes,
like just like have the feelings there lah.
Because the society nowadays is, I mean, maybe I can say it's complicated, right? I don't know. Compared with our last time or old times, like
I mean, it could be not complicated when we were young because we did not realize how complicated it is at the time. Now that we've grown up and we see the way it is,
it's very complicated.
But then I feel like there's still simple truths there lah. Just that children are innocent, so we should not make them suffer lah.
The first thing is still because children rights. We are still the children's come first lah. We make the children come first and then think about the children's and for them the futures, anything lah. It's not so selfish. It's because I get the children is because I get this marriage because I want myself is more happy and then I love these children and it's so like the adult is so selfish. I can say it's so selfish.
I mean, I feel like selfishness has become even more prevalent as we get on to the years. I think more people nowadays only think about themselves, which I can't blame people for thinking in that way because life is hard. It's not easy. But at the end of the day, it's like if your life is hard, imagine how much harder it is for a child.
The next generations.
Our
next generation, yes.
Well, but then again, we're ending it on such a down note. What do you guys think? Is the children's rights situation a serious issue in Malaysia? Or maybe things are very, very nice, very hunky-dory, no problem for you? Let us know in the comments. As always, if you enjoy our content,
or you guys will find out in other something is about the children's, and maybe you can email us and text us. You see, maybe we can go for the discussions and who are the social workers and who want to work with us. Then we try to work up. We have same thinking. So we want to like
reach out to all this social workers and maybe get more information on that. So if you are watching and then you feel like there's something you can share with us, Teh Tarik Hour at gmail.com. And if you enjoy our stuff, as always, share, like, subscribe, comment, and all that fun stuff. If we said anything wrong, please correct us and we will try to learn and be better from it. Until then, we will see you guys on the next episode. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.